Okay, welcome to this basic video on circles. Now the equation of a basic circle is one that you've seen before. It's x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Now here r is the radius of the circle. So if we were to draw this circle, the center would be at the origin, y, x. Center would be at the origin, and we can draw the circle. That's a pretty wonky circle, but you get the idea. And this point is r for the radius. That point's r. That point's negative r, so the negative radius. This point is negative r as well. So let's see this in action. Okay, so here's my equation in the corner here. I've called it C. Now it is x squared plus y squared equals 1. And as you can see, we have 1 as our radius. So 1 coming through the x-axis and the y-axis, and negative 1 and negative 1. Now we can change this. If we change it to, say, 4, we know that 4 is 2 squared. So, as expected, it cuts through 2. So our circle cuts through 2 as the new radius. Now we can change it from that to 9, and that should cut through 3. So radius is now 3. Or if we want to, we can put it through 16. And now it's out to 4 at the radius, and so on and so forth. So that is a basic circle. So now I'll get rid of that. Let's head back. Now, so it's often interesting to try to solve this equation. So find out what x is or what y is. To write it, we might want to be tempted to try and write this into function notation, for example. So if we want to get y by itself, first we'll take x away from both sides. So we'll go y squared equals r squared, take away our x squared. Now we've got a squared here, so we'll do a square root. R squared minus x squared. Now, remember, with this square root, the answer could possibly be a positive square root answer, or it could be the negative of whatever this answer is. Because the y value here could be either the positive y value squared, will give a positive answer, or the negative, if y is negative, that will get a negative answer. And these two answers correspond to different parts of the circle. So if we just look at the y equals positive bit, r squared minus x squared, that gives us the top, the upper semicircle, r, negative r. And if we look at the negative solution, r squared minus x squared, that will give us the bottom of the semicircle. Alright, let's have a look at a couple of examples. So example 1, plot x squared plus y squared equals 10. Well, first off, this 10, we would really like it to be in the form r squared, where r is the radius. So let's rewrite this doing that, x squared plus y squared. So to get it something squared, we need to have the square root of 10 squared. So now we're basically finished. We can just plot it straight away, x-axis, y-axis, and it's got a radius of it's a circle, and it's got a radius of the square root of 10. So square root of 10 there, square root of 10 there, negative square root of 10 here, and negative square root of 10 there. So there we go, that's that example done. Now the circles we've been talking about so far have all had their center at the origin here. But that won't always be the case. We can have some translations with our circle, same as with any other equation. So the general circle equation looks more like this. X minus k squared plus y minus h squared equals r squared. Okay, so here k and h show you where the center is. So the center is at KH. So in other words, it's been shifted this way, K units, and upwards, H units. So our K and our H. So let's do a bit of an example. Let's have our example 2. Here's plots x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 9. So first thing we want to do is change this 9 so it's r squared format. So we can know that 9 is actually 3 squared. So we're talking a radius of 3. And we've got to shift the origin. We notice the origin is at 1, 3, 1, 3, 1 and 3, because these are both negative signs. And now we're pretty much ready to sketch out our circle. So 1, 3 looks about there, 1, 3. And it's got a radius of 3, so it's going to only just touch here, go way up here, and then go 2 beyond this, and over here, oops, here maybe. So there we go, it's not a very well drawn circle, but you get the general idea. Okay, let's do one last example combining everything that we've learned. So here it is, plot y equals the square root of 6 minus x plus 2 squared. Now there's a couple of things we need to note about this. First, if there's nothing written here, it implies it's plus square root of that, so we'll keep the plus square root of this here. Now to see what this really looks like, let's expand it out, so get rid of this square root sign. So we're going to square both sides. So it'll give us y, now we know it's plus y, so I can think in the back of my head, plus y squared equals 6 minus x plus 2 squared. Now I'll add x plus 2 squared to both sides. So I've got x plus 2 squared plus my y squared equals 6. Now this is starting to look a lot like the equation for a circle, except this 6 should be r squared. I want that 6 to be in the form r squared, so I'm going to rewrite it again, x plus 2 squared plus y squared equals, I'm going to write this 6 as the square root of 6 squared, because now it's in the form r squared, since the square root and the squared cancel each other out. So we've got a radius of the square root of 6. So let's just write down the things that I know. I know the radius is square root of 6 of my circle. Now I know where my origin of the circle is as well, the center. So the center is at, it's plus 2. We really want a minus sign there. So that's like saying minus negative 2. So the center is at negative 2 and 0 for y. And remember here, we're only dealing with plus values. So we only want positive values of y only. Values of y only. So here we go. Let me just draw a rough one first and then a neat one second. So here's sort of a rough version. So center at negative 2, 0. Negative 2, 0, that's here-ish. So that's negative 2, 0. That's the center. The radius is the square root of 6, which is of course bigger than the square root of 4, so it's going to come out over here. And connect again there. So it's just the upper semicircle that we're talking about, of course, as we know. And the radius is square root of 6. So this point here is square root of 6 minus 2. And this one's negative 2, take away the square root of 6. There. And this point up here is the square root of 6. So there we go. We've basically plotted the whole thing. and I promised a good version, so I might just do a computer-generated one. Here we go. So you can see there that we've got center at -2, and here's a rough sort of guess for square root of 6, take away 2, and -2 minus root 6. So there we go, there's circles. Best of luck, and I'll see you in class.